They made a preparation, and just after 5 years or so, you could find Sony of Japan made in China. You will find almost everything, no matter what it was, manufactured by this nation. So when you take care of a nation from the point of view of building the citadels of fame, submitting to the cause of security, safety, and quality, you rise to the great esteem. Let me therefore submit before you that in this new digital age to which we all belong to, we are all very excited, and so am I, about the artificial intelligence, machine learning, the internet of everything, horizontal and vertical networking of our organizations, being part of national as well as global network to which now we cannot escape ourselves to because the world is one. But we all realize that we have a great responsibility to deliver. And this responsibility has to be to understand the implications of what AI can do, especially in respect of improving our safety as well as sustainability. As far as sustainable development is concerned, I need not say much more because most of you and all of you are aware it requires, in fact, tremendous amount of care and concern for the efficiency with which we use our energy and our resources, both for production as well as for maintenance. Our nation has already given a call for circular economy, whereby everything which we produce has to be with the consciousness of highest levels of energy as well as environmental compliance, and everything must be reduced as far as possible in terms of its consumption of resources. It must be reprocessed and reutilized to the extent that almost nothing is discharged back to atmosphere. It is that kind of commitment and resolve which the government of India has made while declaring its resolve for the circular economy. And therefore, the cause of sustainable development is intrinsically related to developing our capabilities by which we are able to optimize with tremendous amount of care and caution the use of resources at our disposal, energy as well as water included. And I stand before you as one of the proudest Vice Chancellor of the nation because I belong to a university today, and same was the case when I was at Delhi College of Engineering or DTU also, where we are leading by example. And we all need to lead by example. Merely preaching would not help. Mere addresses from the podium would not help. We have to lead by example. And when we say we lead by example, we have to submit to the cause of energy efficiency as well as conservation of energy and cultivation of green energy to the best of our ability in our organization. And we have to reprocess every single drop of water that comes out as a wastewater from our campus. And I belong to a campus which is a 110 acres campus where every single drop of water, wastewater, is reprocessed, recycled, and reused, enabling us to save millions of gallons of fresh water each year at Amity University, Gurugram, to which I belong to. I also belong to a university where we are generating whole lot of electricity from green resources. We are reprocessing our waste to the extent that nothing goes out of the campus and waste is converted into wealth. And it is for this reason the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking of 2022 have rated Amity University, Haryana at number 32 in terms of Sustainable Development Goal number 7, which belong to affordable clean energy. And we have been rated at number 63 in clean water and sanitation from among 1,500 universities around the world, coming from 116 countries. This is not an ordinary thing, my friend, to happen. I'm asking this question to you: why should it not be for all the IITs we have in the country? Why should it not be for the great campuses of central universities that we have, where hundreds and acres are there in the campus? Why should it not be mandated to all large organizations and all corporates where we could lead by example? It is only by submitting to such a cause that you would be able to make Mother India proud in the arena of sustainable development. What can artificial intelligence do to improve our record of optimization of our resources, optimization of energy, as well as the resources that we consume? Artificial intelligence gives you tremendous amount of capability other than what you could generate through an interdisciplinary team of people sitting together. Artificial intelligence understands what's going on. It it maps out our activity far more in detail, works out what can be done to go beyond the conceivable limit of minds of the people who are associated with design or for that reason operation or maintenance of a system. And then it can allow you to intervene at appropriate times so that catastrophes of the kind could be avoided. The gas tragedy at Bhopal could have been avoided had artificial intelligence been there into the system. It could have alerted you that the formation of the methyl isocyanide gas that was created in the large tanks of MICs in which it was stored, right at the time it formatted, the alarm could have gone up, you would have saved millions of lives at that time. We could have saved, in fact, life of very many people on the roads of Delhi, provided we would have utilized the intelligent transportation systems, ITS it is called, for our highways and roadways, highways and expressways in our country. I have seen the use of ITS when I was doing my PhD. I was surprised. Today ITS is far more graduated. It has layers of artificial intelligence and machine learning embedded into the monitoring and analysis of whole lot of large data of the large traffic which you have in a country like ours. But we need to move mountains in this respect. We have to take a firm resolve that integration of latest development of information and communication technology are to be made an integral part of the design of the great infrastructure that you create, whether it is expressway, whether it is a highway, whether it is a high-rise building or a bridge or a tunnel. Everywhere we need to integrate the layers of the highest and most advanced layers of information communication technology that would now necessarily have the capabilities of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Once we start doing it, you will see great benefits for a country like India, because here we need to go much fast compared to the rest of the world, and we need to achieve our goals and targets with certainty by minimizing the consumption of the resources and money and energy that we have at our disposal. Let me also submit to you that the cause of safety is very dear to a nation like ours. But safety and sustainable development also require us to pay our attention to the ground realities that we have. When I passed over the Barapula road, which I was, of course, one of the persons who took the resolve to do the third-party audit for this road, people were telling me at that time that you are developing it too fast, and after Commonwealth Games, maybe this will collapse. I said, take us seriously. We belong to Delhi College of Engineering. If we are doing third-party audit, it will be one of the most marvel which you would enjoy for years together. Even today, Barapula is doing very well. But what could not happen, that should have happened, of course, when you join it to the D&D on the Noida side, you still find that much of the dirty water, the wastewater of Delhi, going through the dirty drains of Barapula, is still joining the holy river Yamuna. Why could it be that almost 60 to 70% untreated waste of this nation go directly into our rivers and water bodies, while we as a nation are deeply distressed about the availability of fresh water for our people? This is a great challenge. So I think apart from the economic development of the kind which we are promising ourselves to, on which we would march with certainty, courage and confidence and achieve great goals, we must submit ourselves to the cause of putting our very best effort to take the ground realities on board and address them by integrating them as a part and parcel of our strategies for India at not 2047, but India at 5 years from now, India at 80, so that you are in a position to address these burning problems which we have of road safety, fire safety, integrating, in fact, ICT in our great infrastructure, reprocessing every single drop of water. And I was really, my head was held high when the Honorable Prime Minister proclaimed that we are committing ourselves to that zero discharge of wastewater into our rivers and water bodies a couple of months ago, when the Swachh Bharat 2.0 was, in fact, commissioned by the Honorable Prime Minister of India. I want the proclamation made at that time to remain in front of us as the guiding spirit to design and devise our strategies to create India of our dream. I'm sure the Safety and Quality Forum of Institution of Engineers have taken a resolve to organize safety convention each year. I had been a party to the safety convention a couple of times, and I see tremendous amount of interest that is there. Today you have put together not only the academia, but also the industry with us here in the panel, and we want to learn from our friends in the industry that how fast and how with courage and confidence we can rise to the challenge of creating the new India of our dream, where safety, security and sustainability would be the hallmark of society. But I also want you to commit beyond safety, security and sustainability to the aspects that would be very much required now that we have passed through the great turmoil and great tragedy and great tragic times of COVID-19. It requires us to go back to our basics and ask ourselves whether we should continue with the kind of lifestyle that we have become so much accustomed to, where we want to purchase as much as necessary and consume as much as we can without the fear of becoming sick or without the fear of purchasing so much that others go totally hungry. So I think the time has come where we have to talk of, along with sustainable development, you have to talk of sustainable consumption. Our forefathers have overscored the importance of what they called aparigraha. Aparigraha. I hope you understand this word. I learned it from my father during my childhood. And the dictum was, consume as much as necessary, no more. If there are 20 chapatis in front of you, if you need only 2, just consume 2, nothing more. Consume as much as necessary and purchase as much as required. Today our cupboards are full. Even as a vice chancellor, I may have 7, 8, maybe 10 pair of suits, while maybe 2 or 3 might have just sufficed. One for coming here, one for office, and another one for other affairs. My father only had 2 dresses, my friend. So unless you understand that the cause of sustainable development and sustainable consumption are intrinsically related, a populous country like India would not be able to make Mother India proud, nor would it make Buddha smile, because the call for sustainable development is intrinsically related to tomorrow's world in which sustainable consumption, the aparigraha, would become the hallmark of our lifestyle. These are some of the aspects I thought I must present before you. Before I thank you for giving me this privilege and honor to be here, let me present to you 1 or 2 quotes which may be the guiding lights. And I quote here the former President of America, the Nobel Laureate of Peace, Sri Barack Obama, who said, "Let us resolve that we will not leave our children in a world where oceans rise, famine spreads, and terrible storms devastate our lands." The United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Moon, the former Secretary General, said that sustainable development is the pathway to the future. We want for all. It offers a framework to generate economic growth, achieve social justice, exercise environmental stewardship, and strengthening our governance system. But let me also not hesitate to remind you what the current Secretary General of United Nations has said. He said that we heedlessly plunder the earth resources. We heedlessly plunder the earth resources, deplete its wildlife, and treat air, land, and seas as the dumping grounds. Crucial ecosystems and food chains are being pushed to the brink of collapse. This is suicidal. Not me, but United Nations Secretary General is saying, we must end our war on nature. Not just destroying nature, but our war on nature we must end and nurse it back to health. But I'm giving you a hope also by quoting our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, who while addressing the Indian Economic Convention way back in 2014 has said, we must build an agenda for speedy yet sustainable economic growth that is inclusive for all, is respectful for individuals, responsive to innovations, and responsible toward the future generations. I trust this agenda is on our table to be sincerely pursued to create the India of our dream. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this opportunity to be in this.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for your kind words, and your, I believe the audience would have certainly enjoyed them. With this, I call Pawan. Pawan is going to talk on the role of digital twin in the correct engineering decision at manufacturing sites. Pawan is a founder and CEO of the India's fastest growing EHS risk management and engineering consultancy company. Pawan is the youngest CEO for any risk management consulting company, it looks to be. And he is leading the development of Industry OS, the digital twin-based digitalization tool based on information layered over layout. So, Pawan, over to you. I believe 15 minutes to 17
Uppercut 20 minutes. Uppercut.
Oh. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone, all dignitaries on and off the dais. And Mr. Martin Bartle joining from UK. Very good afternoon, and as per their time zone, greetings to all of you. I am Pawan. I lead a company called Sparrow RMS, it's in Sparrow Risk Management Services. I have a question to start with. How many of you are less than 35-year-old in age? So 4 or 5, that talks about inclusive and sustainable growth, right? Because in most of the conferences I see people, because most of you are experienced, but you need to bring your young ones from your factory, and the company says that they take out the knowledge and, go invest. Secondly, women. I counted, no need to even raise hands. So there's something which we talk about but hardly do it. So that's the first learning that we must follow, sustainable and inclusive growth. Now coming to the main topic, we as industry practitioners and professionals, we're extremely excited about AI, machine learning. How many of you have thought of or heard of very enthusiastically that we should solve certain things with tech, maybe in AI or machine learning? Anyone of? How many of you are enthusiastic about tech? Or feeling like using machine technology, AI, machine learning for some or other, some other reasons, right? So I find 10, or you may raise hands. I'm not going to ask you anything, for sure. So that is something that you're free to raise your hands. We have observed in the last 10 years that almost every one of us in EHS fraternity are very, very curious and very enthusiastic about some way or other way using tech. And the problem that we faced is a lot about understanding of it. Before that, I'll just brief 30 seconds about us. We are India's highest revenue getter into EHS business. We cater 300 clients globally. We remain fastest growing in India per se. We are celebrating our 10th year. It's a decade for us. We work in 5 different verticals. Now back to the main topic of the core thing. In our last 10 years in business and common discussion that we have with a lot of clients, we find that they're extremely enthusiastic about AI machine learning. But the problem comes in when we discuss more about it. How do you want to use it? What way you want to use it? What is actually an AI machine learning or artificial intelligence? Unfortunately, the fundamentals in our fraternity about this tech is extremely low, and it's time that today, even going for a digital twin discussion, I'll try to have a very basic discussion on what is AI, what is machine learning, and how we can use it. And then we'll go to how we can use in digital twin, depending on the time if it permits. Right? So generally, 3 topics comes in. You can see it right here. It's AI, machine learning, and big data. Sir was rightly saying, Subramanian sir was talking about big data, and big data is something which is critical to their kind of business. How it is linked to our kind of business, that we'll see in the next slides. We surveyed around more than 100 EHS professionals across India, asking very fundamental questions about what actually is AI, and we asked pretty simple 3 questions. Is machine learning and artificial intelligence same, or they're different, number 1. Number 2, big data tools may use on priority what kind of tech? When we use big data, what is the data size we are generally talking about? The data size, MB, GB wala data size, right? So first question to all of you. Just raise it, say, is machine learning, artificial intelligence being same? Is AI and machine learning are same? If it's same, just raise your hand. Please do so, because that's how I'll interact. Yes, no, neutral. Okay, not same. How many of you say? So, not same. Okay, so people from my company says no, right? So it is actually a subset. It is neither a same or independent. It's quite a subset. So we'll talk about how it is. And how we got the answer? So 10% of the people said it is same. Well, almost same 80% of it, because they were so much diluted and delusional about it, so they took a very midway of answering it. Big data, they say that it may use AI as a priority, machine learning as a second priority, and then we discuss big data. What is the size of data that a computer will sir, excuse me, sir. It disturbs us, sorry for that. Right. So when we discuss big data, what is the data size we are talking about? It's like in a day we're talking about GB or EB. Big data is a very huge set of data. What Sir was talking about, a Chandrayaan is going to land on moon. They were consuming a hell lot of data, and at such a pace that the processor of Chandrayaan actually, that particular application failed to process that data with that pace. That is called big data. So it is, the answer is, it's not GB, it's called EB. EB is 1 billion GB. So imagine, none of us will ever use big data. Pretty sure on this. Except oil and gas, where we are drilling and taking all the layers, all the seismic layer information so fast that we need to process and find what kind of oil and probability of finding an oil and gas below surface is required. So we all as an EHS professional will limit ourselves to AI and machine learning. There's an agreement, so if anyone comes to talk to you as a salesperson and say that we deal in big data, say no thank you, we don't need it. So that's learning number 1. So machine learning is a subset of AI. It consists of techniques that enables learning through a set of procedures. Machine learning is about learning through a set of automation process through data without having any external brain or programming being done. Big data tools is certainly uses machine learning, but of course AI being a subset, it uses AI. And big data will have 1 GB of data per hour to per day, kind of 1 EB of data being calculated and processed by the computers. Now, why we need these basics to be correct and sound? Pretty simple, to identify the problems. If you're finding a problem, if you need to solve it by tech, then you must understand the fundamentals, that whether we can use these technologies or not, or where we are just leading our way forward the way a sales leader is talking to you and convincing you that you buy this and it will solve this. It is not going to be so. And that's the reason if you look into research, in EHS, return of investment on AI and machine learning is quite low, because that is something people buy out of curiosity but end up not using it the way they wish to. Second is to streamline our thoughts beyond over-enthusiasm. It's like so much common, like we use these terminologies quite frequently, that doesn't help that way. To lead our problem statement and not to be driven by the sales party like us, we are one of them. And doing justice to your organization fund. So ROI is one thing that when you decide to buy a tech for EHS or non-EHS business, it is very important that you utilize the fund with gross logic and senses. And most importantly, that you are the one who will set the demand. It is not the consulting companies or the selling software companies will set your needs. To set up the need very rightly, that I have been very lucky to work with Sarosri also, sir, or Reckitt per se, Martin is right here. So the setting the right scoping is what is going to deliver, whether in service or tech. So today, in the next 10 minutes, we'll say that how to set it right. Right? So artificial intelligence is nothing new. We all feel AI is quite new. No, it is not at all. 1959, AI was brought into science. So we are new to it. It is not new to us. Right? So now machine learning came into 80s, 90s. Deep learning came quite recently. So all are the subset of AI. It's computer trying to learn the way we think. And of course, as Sir said, not the emotions, but the logics. Right? And then trying to deliver certain decisions which will either talk to another machine, take an act, or it will give a decision to us, and then we put a bionic layer. That means human interference will come. And then further you decide what has to be done. So key differences, this is the most fundamental slide that every one of you must watch. AI is about applying knowledge. We code a program, we train the computer by knowledge, it brings data, give you a decision. Whereas machine learning itself learns. It's like us. We are being taught how to solve a mathematical equation is an AI. While walking on the road, how much force we need to put forward such that we remain stable, that goes in machine learning. No one is going to teach us. We are learning ourselves. That is the behavior part. It's something which is, there is no coding required. Of course, there's a coding required, but it keeps on learning through the data set which is incoming and going through, like in that kind of Chandrayaan project. The aim is to increase the chances, whereas it's not about the accuracy. In machine learning, it is more about accuracy. We talk about computer that does smart work through AI, whereas machine learning takes the data and learns itself. right? The goal is to simulate natural intelligence to solve complex problems. The goal is to learn from data to certain tasks and keep on learning. Most important, it does help into decision making, where this is about learning new things. So machine learning learns new things for you, gives you the more and more information analytics. So how do you apply in EHS? That is very important. I have case studies where you can see it. I'll not go into it to save the time, which talks more about how the structure of machine learning and AI go into EHS per se. Now coming to what are the unanswered questions that still EHS fraternity deals with, because our 10 years has been talking to EHS professionals all across the globe, mostly in India, for sure. Which data needs to be recorded? In EHS, if you find a use case, suppose we are talking about simplified work permit system, we are working with major oil and gas, where we have been asked to predict if a work permit is requested till it is closed, how much minutes or hours we lose before that particular work permit gets approved, and what is the productivity loss. So that kind of data, do you think that how, if we are going with the technology, forget AI, machine learning, simplistic technology, how you're going, what kind of data actually you need to record, not only the specifics of data, but also specifics of the back-end information. EHS professionals struggle to monetize their business. If an organization asks that how an EHS function is delivering to money terms, it can be monetized provided that you use relevant data into relevant sense and put it to your board or management that this is how we are saving money for you, not only lives, asset, but also money that can be collaborated. Where is the data in facility? How do you store that data? We are talking about data being stored in India or outside or in your premises servers. Data sample size and aging, that how old data you have, structured data, and future agile data, that anything that you're doing in EHS right now, in environment also, you have very much live data from carbon emission to water demand to ETP. We are working with Mahindra on ETP digitalization, where we can predict with the production demand how the ETP variations will go. So this is the data set which we need to have 6 to 8 months of data to understand machine learning and deliver the right thing. So real-time examples of AI. When you start from home, when you started from home to this conference, you would have probably booked a Ola, Uber, or you're driving yourself, then you would be seeing Google Map. The real-time prediction that Google shows you is mostly AI. It gives you, they pick the data from our mobile, that what speed, average speed of ours, and formulate a logic and give it to you. So Google has no sensor around. So how they do take data? They take data from our own mobile, populate at one server, and then again reshare back to us, stating that this much time you'll take. Moment I go to the next screen where I can predict that at what time I'm going to start. So it says I can pick any time prediction-wise. I can start at 7:30, 8:30. That goes to machine learning because Google has a historical data set, and it will predict that if you start by 11 o'clock, you're going to take 20 minutes extra because of traffic. So we started predicting how a typical work permit, what is the chances of extension? What is the chances of a typical incident? What is the chance? I'm just trying to parallelly connect to EHS, because then you can imagine that what kind of problems you can solve, right? Big data I'll not go into, nothing relevant to you. Big data qualification, just have because of Sir connection, I'll just tell you. The volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value, and complexity is the reason of big data. Now to data in EHS, I'll quickly go to the slides of digital twin because of time. So now going to the core thing of how our brain operates. Sir, I'll have 5 minutes. 5 minutes max. Take it. So how our brain operates. Imagine all of you being working for a facility, maybe a factory, maybe in corporate. You get a call. It may be incident call, near misreported call, or maybe a typical management of change request, MOC, right? I have been very lucky to have everyone from infra side. You're just doing a project management life cycle, and you get to know that there is a transformer which we need to install or do a factory test, and you need an EHS approval on the safety parameters or the factory test aspects. How do you do that? The first thing and foremost thing that every one of us will think, where is that machine? Location of that machine. The moment we are able to locate that machine in our brain, next we think about what are the specifications of that machine. Then we think about what are the processes of that machine. If I'm going through a MOC, then what are my steps that I need to do to complete my MOC life cycle. Then we finally do, just before we are going to implement, what is my process conditions, what is my flow velocity, what is my pressure, what is my, if it is an electrical device, what is voltage. Just before we are going to connect, what is my current rating, what is my harmonics rating. Those are dynamic parameters which keeps on varying depending upon time. This is how these 3 information sets are consumed by human brain to take a decision. This is it, nothing beyond it. Data type will vary, but not the method of data will vary. So this is what we say that for success of EHS or success of project management life cycle for most of the construction people here is these three data sets will enable the mindset and the similar way the software must think, whether without AI or with AI, but this is how the software has to think depending on the complexity. Few key project information would be process information, process flows, safety parameters, civil layouts, PNIDs, and so on and so forth. Now, it may be so much variety for us, but look for a computer. It will only have 4 components. Either computer will look for a diagram, which will go for PNIDs and PFDs, code numbers like spec sheets, MOC parameters, asset layer data like layouts, civil layouts, GA drawings, hazard asset classification, QRA data, and so on and so forth. That will go into asset layered information. And layout driven will be on spatial position, chemical management, positioning of machine, and so on and so forth. If we are able to classify every data in EHS in these 4 buckets, you have your first layer of information, which is static information, which doesn't change every day in a factory. Doesn't change drastically in a factory every day. So this is how our brain operates. It starts with diagrams, it goes to asset detailing, it goes to numbers and the layout. Sequence may change, but this is what you do every day. So a software or a technical solution that you're looking at, if it is capable of bucketing every of your data set in these 4, you're done. And the biggest logic behind these data segregation is you're not going to solve one use case. You're not going to solve a work permit. You're not going to solve MOC. Actually, you can solve anything because this is what and this is how all the logics are developed. So it is a foundation of the technology that establishes the 10 years of digitalization program of your own factory, whether in EHS operation or maintenance per se. Look at this PNID, how our brain operates. This is something which PNID, we look at machines, we look at instrumentation, but the moment I need to know the pipe size, I need to call someone. I need to know the motor rating, I am gone. I need to ask someone else. So most of the cases, the moment you go for this decision making, that PNID is useless. It is useful to 10%, 20% extent, but again for n number of information, you keep on revolving to different factories or different teams and end up losing a lot of time, and most importantly, you're not sure that you're going to get the right data. So these information systems are mostly dead systems. So the PDF systems, PNIDs, CAD, the CAD which cannot talk to you is useless. So what we did when we keep on innovating, we let the CAD talk itself and then put the layer of informations which are static, workflow, and dynamic in the same set of layers and the logic and then analytics or IoT sensors. So this is how we created Industry OS. I'll not go into it because there's something will go into the direct branding of the company, which is not fair for this kind of presentation. But this goes with ILOL, which is our own patented trademark, goes with all layer of information. Then it looks like this. We can replicate a complete digital twin of the factory. It has every information and then puts the logic of anything that you wish in EHS. And next 10 years, you keep on getting use cases. We keep on solving the same platform. You need not to buy a different kind of softwares. Not much into it. It keeps all ANSI-enabled databases inbuilt into it. It knows RFQs. It knows everything what you need in single click globally. So you're sitting in UK, you can have a plant in India, and you can go through the plant as if you're there. So it is a typical look and feel. Any of these technology that you apply should take care of the process part. Also, non-process part like utilities, that is called a balance of process, BOP part. Right? It should connect to anything that you can imagine. And I'll leave you with a 2-minute video, and that's how I end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Industry digitalization is no more a choice, and it is inevitable. India and most of the other developing countries except China are at the bottom of the pyramid of digitalization journey. It is a journey, and we are at a perfect point to start, which shall boost our industrial output in line with IoT and Industry 4.0. We are pleased to introduce Industry OS, the A of digital transformation. It lets you digitize and then digitalize the complete factory and facility, including commercial buildings with all their functions, machines, people, process with inclusion of operation, maintenance, environment, health and safety of people. And the same shall have different interface with relevant information for different teams such as factory, regional and global corporates. And it starts with the most basic thing of our facilities, the layout and data. Industry OS works as your layout as base. As we remember things, perspective, location. Industry OS allows you to just drag and drop any machine, tag areas. The machines come preloaded in Industry OS database, including spec sheet design parameters, EHS elements as per national and international standards, and the machine knows its connection details. Once deployed, all three functions, operation, maintenance and EHS, get their own user interface with their utility, task monitor, planner, but the data remains collaborated. Module 1, Operation. Advanced but simplified operation scheduler, planner and tracker. This module is well integrated with EHS and maintenance, thus it inculcates and inherits data from all facets, allowing most advanced data analytics to improve productivity and OEE and EE. Module 2, Maintenance. Imbibing the concept of TPM and WCM. Maintenance module enables you to improve productivity, request and track maintenance activities from planning stage to closure, including integration of EHS, inventory, VMS. Module 3, EHS. The EHS module inculcates foundation from world's most accepted standards and indices. Imagine the value it shall generate with real-time integration with operations and maintenance into it. It offers you 20 plus EHS elements, from incident reporting to work permit, training, environment, chemical management, GRI compliance, LOTO, CAPA, MOC and many more. It comes with data-driven foundation and shall include features like video analytics and Google Assistant. Interestingly, your industry OS shall be unique as it is 100% customized to your need and requirement. It comes with 3 layers of information system: global, regional, corporate and plant level MIS. Also different interfaces for all 3 layers. With a world-class and most interactive and comprehensive dashboard and people management tool, this software becomes a necessity for your organization. It is scalable with AI, machine learning and IoT, capable of integrating to your smart machines. Let's start the Industry 4.0 journey. Global access to data reduces travel and the ROI is extremely quick. Imagine all your global plants on this platform and you can track, compare and enhance plant utilization, maintenance and EHS performance. It remains 100% customizable and you can always buy any standalone module or as a package. The future is here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pawan. Sorry. After the university, then from the industry, and what a fantastic presentation by Pawan. With this, I invite Mr. Martin Badal. He is the Global Health and Safety Director for Quality and Compliance from the Reckitt Benckiser, UK. He is an MBA, MSc. He's a chartered member of IOSH. He's got a 35 years working career through engineering, risk, and resilience leadership. He's a leader, certified coach, and an ex-army officer. He takes great pleasure in seeing his colleagues grow, build resilience, and succeed in life. So one of the example of his colleagues is Saurabh Srivastava, standing in front of you. Presently, he is joining us from UK, and thanks, Martin, if you can hear us.
I can hear you, Sarah. Thanks very much.
Can you bring Martin on the screen, please? Presentation as well as the picture, the video also. So probably, Martin, we can't see. We can only see the slides.
That's okay. As long as you can hear me, Sarah, that's okay.
No, screen is already shared. Probably your video is on. I'm asking about from the IT desk. Can you see his video?
My video is on this side.
Okay. So, Martin, what you can do is, without even presenting it, if you can just bring the slides without in a presentation mode. Probably let's see if that works. Yeah. So now you have to bring 2 screens on the main. So IT desk, hotel IT desk. Can you just bring the 2 screens? like a video as well as his slides?
You want me to share my slides again, Sarah?
Yes. So just in it. Yes, fantastic. Leave it there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the wrong.
Thank
You
you.
can see that, can you?
Yeah. So over to you, Martin. Thank you.
Okay. Just 1 second, Sarah. I had the presentation set up in another folder, so just give me 2 seconds, please.
No worries.
Go ahead and share your screen.
Always the pressure. It was all ready to go, Sarah.
No, Martin, no pressure. Pressure makes things difficult.
You know, we've only been working with this for 2 years now. Right, I'm hoping now, Sarah, this should be it.
No worries. Can you share your screen now?
It's coming now.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay?
Go. Yeah. Thank you.
So, super. Thanks very much indeed, Sarah and the committee for inviting me to speak. Sarah, it's quite loud. I can hear the feedback from the screens. Hopefully, everyone can hear me okay in the room.
Yeah. We can see you, and as well as we can see the slides, as well as a loud and clear voice.
Great. Right,
Thank you.
so we're good to go. So look, thanks very much for Professor Sharma and Pawan for their sessions as well. I'm going to talk a bit more about the leadership, culture and behaviour around artificial intelligence and around the what we need to do to continue to work with AI in and amongst the industrial workspace. I'm getting a lot of feedback, Sarah, so it's quite difficult my end. So, and then the main title of the presentation is around how leaders need to adopt transformation of health and safety culture through leadership. Now, Sarah has already described me quite nicely in my introduction, so I won't take time as everyone's already been in the room for well over an hour. But as Sarah said, I started my career as a 16-year-old, joined the Royal Engineers, and then have worked through 35 years of different levels of engagement, leadership, health and safety, from that time through where I am now with Reckitt. And I've been now with Reckitt for just over 2 years. So many of you will know our Reckitt brand. Maybe not many people will know the actual name of the company is Reckitt. But our main brand that you might recognise in India is the Dettol brand with Harpic and Gaviscon and others, Airwick, etc. So what's important for me to come and speak today is, you know, we see lots of different types of artificial intelligence, sustainable safety leadership across our portfolio. And we have 40,000 people that work in Reckitt across 60 different nations. And of course, quite strongly, we have a number of factories in India, as well as Bangladesh as well. And one of our teams from Bangladesh has won an award, and they're currently in the room. So congratulations to those guys as well. Our mission is to make sure that we provide a cleaner, healthy world for all. And the head of our purpose really is around making sure that we have things, safe and sustainable brands that ensure that we protect, heal and nurture to provide this cleaner, healthier world for all. So that means not only our products to be safe and sustainable for people in the world, but also safety and sustainably around our own colleagues that work for us in Reckitt. So I proceed these first few slides as we are slightly behind time. So main part of the presentation then is, the title, How All Leaders Need to Adapt to the Future of Work Culture. And we know that the intervention of artificial intelligence has made remarkable changes in improving the lifestyle of human beings and also increased in productivity around industries, medical, space travel and more. And it was great to hear something about space travel earlier as I made a comment to it in my own presentation. Artificial intelligence, though, is a powerful tool that does help stakeholders achieve sustainable development, security and safety goals. However, we do need to make sure that we work with AI, that culture and behaviour around our people, whether that's in the workplace or outside of the workplace, includes emotional intelligence with values, attitudes and beliefs to work with artificial intelligence for the future. Now, what we know is there's still no magic bullet for safety and sustainable development. We have to continue to seek new opportunities, like artificial intelligence, while practicing the things we have learned from the past. How we work with artificial intelligence will take high levels of emotional intelligence as well. And what I want to do is just highlight a recent incident. And this has already been referred to today by Professor Sharma as well. So if we look at everyday artificial intelligence, as Pawan mentioned, many of you may have driven to the facility today. Many of you may have used Google Maps, other intelligence. And I look at this list of driver assist technology. We've got things in here like attention assist, we've got active brake assist, we've got rear cross traffic alerts, we've got electronic stability programs, parking damage detectors. Oh, there's the thing there, Mercedes-Benz emergency call services, and then seat belts on every seat. I can't see the audience, but I wonder if anyone can suggest to me, either through Sarab, the driver assist technology here that we're talking about and what particular car we're talking about.
Which car?
Well, I can highlight that the driver assist technology that we're talking about, everyday artificial intelligence, is all found on the Mercedes-Benz GLC 220D 4MATIC SUV. And many of you may be aware that, of course, that was the car that Cyrus Mistry was in when he had his unfortunate demise on the 4th of September. And that's why it's incredibly important that all the while that we have artificial intelligence and we have things like driver assist technology, we all, as leaders and independent people, have a major part to play in making sure that the intelligent systems actually work with our culture and our behaviours. And what we saw, unfortunately, in this particular incident is this car was fitted with some of the latest driver assist technology, yet the worst of events still happened because people in the car chose not to wear seatbelts. And if you don't wear the seatbelts, then unfortunately the safety systems of the car are not going to save you from that demise. And what we see in other areas of industry as well is people that unfortunately make workarounds around artificial intelligence because they think they know better than the systems themselves. So it's important that with artificial intelligence, safe and sustainable operations, that we absolutely make sure we've got the right leadership and person behaviours and culture that work with them. And that's what I'm just going to briefly talk about. Now, if you search about leadership and what does it mean, and many of you might say, I'm a leader. Many of you might say, well, actually, I'm not a leader. But anyone who has grown up in a family, anyone who's got brothers, sisters, has been to school, all of us have the ability to demonstrate leadership. And if one of those people in Cyrus's car in the front said, look, would you mind wearing your seatbelt for this journey? That would have taken some level of leadership, but would have still saved that person. What we know is there's no magic bullet around safety and sustainable development. Now, that simple Google search, which I'm sure you can all do at your break later on today, heralded over 4 billion search hits for leadership. And what we do know is that although we've got 4 billion hits, I'm not going to try and instruct you on leadership for the next 10 minutes on 4 billion hits. But what we do know, it takes a modern, characterful leader with care to introduce new ways of sustainable safety with artificial intelligence. And to do this, we also must continue on with ensuring that we've got the right levels of engineering, the right levels of education, and the right levels of enforcement. Because without some of those things, people will still be able to make choices that put themselves and others at risk. So hopefully you'll recognise some of these pictures. I'm going to talk about what is leadership. So this is Ben Stokes. So apologies for those in the audience that may not be completely into cricket, but as Sarah will attest to, one of the things we talk often about is cricket. And being a supporter of England cricket, you'll know that I suffer quite often from our terrible poor performance. However, Ben Stokes, if we just talk about leaders, Ben Stokes currently is the captain of the Test team, but has also played quite a lot in the IPL. Now, when we look at somebody like Ben Stokes, Ben's had his issues. He has suffered from some personal issues around his father dying, and he took some time out of cricket to make sure that he was in the right place to take on and lead others. We know that leadership is not necessarily about authority, it's about people being able to step up and help shape what other people do. I put this statement in at the bottom of this slide, which is about leadership is a potent combination of strategy and character. But it suggests that if you must be without one, be without strategy. And this was from General Norman Schwarzkopf, who led the American forces for a while. And what he means by that is, in the future world of work, we are going to be hit with many, many different types of, whether it's intelligence, whether it's new forms of sustainable activities, whether it's new ways of working. And what we need to be as leaders is characterful in the future to make sure we learn and understand about those new systems to make sure they're enabled for others to work safely in the future. And so that aligned with, of course, you'll all be familiar with Moore's Law, that in 1965 it was suggested by Moore that the numbers of transistors were doubling yearly. We know that the future of AI is already upon us and also is going to be accelerating. So it's incredibly important that we remain agile for that in the future. So what do we need to do that? So here you'll see, and again, this was already mentioned by somebody else at Commonwealth Games. So here were 3 members of the Indian team winning their gold medals. What are the immediate priorities that we all need to do? It's my opinion that people do not work as much as they need to on developing their broader leadership acumen. Many people concentrate on technical qualifications, being the best at what they need to do when it comes to qualifications and examinations. But what we need to do is spend more time on developing our leadership behaviours, our culture development, and also on ensuring everyone understands our own values, attitudes and beliefs. I assert that tech will not survive conflict with culture. And we see that in road traffic accidents, we see that in other incidents across the world when we've looked at things like Space Shuttle Columbia and other disasters. We've seen recently the Americans put on hold their launches to the moon because they found some issues with the fuel system. Now what we saw previously is there was probably a lack of moral fibre that stopped launches going ahead before, and we know that from research. So it's interesting to see a new style of leadership, and there's a lady now that's the lead of the launch party. It's amazing now to see that they're going to hold off and make sure it's absolutely right before they launch. So again, this is culture now over asserting technology. We need to make sure that we have the right impact and intention for the future, to make sure people know and understand what it is that we're talking about when it comes to artificial intelligence and safe and sustainable working. I use this language around Arctic distortion. The further away from the truth that you get, different people have different opinions of what was originally said. This was originally like Chinese whispers, if we all remember this story in school, where one child passes a message to the next. The arc of distortion is incredibly powerful when it comes to culture, leadership and behaviour. We must always continue to have a learning and aspiration and growth mindset. In the future, we've got some very eminent speakers and people in this particular conference. We need to learn from each other, we need to coach, mentor and support, and we all need to make sure that for the future we understand some of the developments that are ongoing, because as the leaders in this room and as the leaders of others, it's important that we know and understand the growth of artificial intelligence in sustainable and safe operations. So I use this language around coaching, challenging, supporting, and what we can see here is, as you'll all be aware, I'm sure, Sachin Tendulkar and his son Arjan, and we know that one of the greatest players on earth for many, many years, is now turning into probably one of the best coaches that there are out there. What we know is we all need to be able to create spaces for others to grow, to others to learn and develop, and coach in this thing called psychological safety. We need to make sure the environment where we transition into safe and sustainable operations really is safe, psychologically safe for those others that work with us. And we do that by demonstrating this shadow of the leader. And it's incredible that people will not necessarily do what we say, but they will generally follow what we do. So we can give instructions all day long, but actually if they see us doing something that's contrary to a safe activity, then that's what they'll do. So it's incredible that you and I and we all create this shadow of the leader, that people can see our behaviours, our values and our culture. We need to create a positive team climate. People are still sceptical of artificial intelligence, they're still sceptical of machine learning, and many people will still not understand the benefits that it can offer. So we need to make sure we continue to support, consult and challenge in the future when it comes to installing artificial intelligence and machine learning. Without this foundation of positive climate, challenging behaviours will have no significant effect. And this comes back to the engineering, education and enforcement. What more will it do to encourage people to do the safe thing? Poor Cyrus in his car, we had all of the different driver assistance aids, but without the right behaviours, without people challenging the unsafe behaviours, then we're still going to end up with unfortunate incidents. So as leaders, we need to continue to build our agility and resilience. And I talk about this being mentally fit for the fight. So we need to continue to learn from each other, find good coaches and mentors. I also talk about being physically fit, and we could talk about being spiritually fit as well. We need all of those things to be ready for the future. To plan for the future, become and use more mentors and coaches. Sarah mentioned that one of the things that I really enjoy doing is mentoring and coaching people, helping them get the most out of themselves by giving some encouragement and some guiding words, some guiding conversation. We all need to spend time to develop foundational elements of leadership as well as technical capability. It really is incredibly important that as the world speeds up with our knowledge and understanding of AI, it is getting faster and faster and faster, and we need to make sure that we are fit for that fight. And finally, just as we close out, what else is possible? And I put here, anything is possible, and apologies, this slide didn't come out particularly well, but this is the Indian Space Research Organisation, and we didn't get together to talk about our slides before I made this up, but it was interesting to hear the leader of the speakers earlier talk about where the Indian flag is furthest from the Earth, and we see it on Mars. We have got huge opportunity as the Indian population, as the world population, to do good things going forward with AI and safe and sustainable operations. We need to make sure that we have the right people, processes and governance. We of course know we need to build trusted relationships, creating opportunities to encourage all to become this health and safety community. And my final and passing shot really is that technology will not survive conflict with culture. It will always need leaders with character to make sure that people still understand through values, attitudes and belief what we're really trying to achieve through safe and sustainable operations using artificial intelligence. Thank you, Sarah. It's been an honour to present today, and hopefully next year, hopefully I'll be able to attend in person.
Thanks a lot, Martin. And I can assure you from behalf of the whole audience here that everybody enjoyed the way it has been presented. Thanks a lot, Martin, for your presence
Thank
here.
You, Sarah. Thank you all.
And with this, I will ask the session chairman to sum up the session. And over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Saurabhji. We had interesting 3 sessions, one from academia and another industry, and the third one is really a researcher. I can call it a researcher. So, Sharmaji has categorically told sustainable development goal towards safety, point number 7, which is essential. And one thing he emphasized is the integrated approach of all the technology is the need of the hour, and it was a ground reality. I fully agree, integrated engineering solution is going to be the future. We cannot work in the compartment wise, and it has to be integrated and fused among the technologies. And the fusing can take place only by artificial intelligence. Fusing can take place only through artificial intelligence, which lead to the, in any case, it improve the efficiency, time consumption, cost reduction, and safety. Safety. Security, safety, sustainability, which is in need of the hour, which he has emphasized, and it is a clear direction which he has told. And also a quality which artificial intelligence helps to get the quality, that also he mentioned. Really good presentation, sir. About Mr. Pawan, it is the big data analysis, how the big data analysis, multiple methods, and he was touching upon key project information and digital journey in future years, how we are going to have. Artificial intelligence uses the design criteria like reasoning. One is rule-based reasoning, another one is case-based reasoning, and the third one is a fact-based reasoning. One is rule, you said rule is there. The artificial intelligence can use that rule-based, and another one is case-based, another one fact-based. A typical case for a particular application, how builds you have to give. A typical example, I am coming back to the aerospace. Suddenly I have a request for a launching a satellite of 900 kilogram satellite at 400 kilometer orbit with an inclination of 23 degree. A requirement comes from an end user to map the resource, remote sensing. Immediately artificial intelligence decides which type of vehicle should be used, which type of camera should be used, which type of spacecraft has to be used. These things artificial intelligence selects and it gives the information. Otherwise, what will happen is we take 3 years earlier. In 1990, if you want to design a satellite for remote sensing, it takes 3 years. Abito now it can be possible within a very shortest time with a reliable vehicle, and other thing is possible. That's what he touched upon. And another interesting thing is MIS-based system, which he is global MIS-based system, which he mentioned. And he put a roadmap for the younger generation. Advanced data analysis systems. How do you go for analysis, data statistics? Which he said using the software, which it is possible. That is, it is quite interesting. The entrepreneurs, as an entrepreneur, you are giving a pathway for the younger generation. You can, in fact, some of the students can take the internship and get it familiarized in this upcoming technology. Mr. Martin from UK, he mentioned about the personalization and character leadership and impact and interaction. One thing which is impact and interaction, which he mentioned, which is a thing, two different things, even then, agility and resistance, like that, arc of distortion. How artificial intelligence is going to help these two extremes, how it is going to mention, he said. And finally, he touched upon ISRO, our own mother organization. Technology will not survive conflict with the culture. This golden verse which he has used. Technology will not survive a conflict with the culture. So it is one of the success story. ISRO's success story. We have 10 mantras in which one of the success story he touched upon. With this, we had a good session on sustainable development, safety towards sustainable development, use of artificial intelligence. I thank the speakers for directing the session to in a focused manner. Thank you very much for the organizers giving opportunity.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I believe if you have got any questions, you can talk to the speakers, and if you have got any question for the Martin, then you can certainly pass it to me. So just before lunch, I'll take, if you have got any 1 or 2 questions, we can still, okay, during the lunch hour. That's what I was trying to tell, that we'll use the lunch hour, working lunch. Before I conclude the session, I would request from the chairman to give away the token of appreciation. So can I have the token of appreciations, please? Yes. So I'll request chairman, chairman sir, can you just facilitate the? So we'll start with the chairman first. Will, yes, yeah, right. So
he has to perform another duty.
Right, yeah, I know.
He has to honor our,
so can you bring it from Mr. P.B. Sharma sir, Professor P.B. Sharma sir? Thank you. For Mr. Pawan, can we have Mr. Martin on video, please? Screen. Thank you. For Martin, I will collect on behalf of Martin. Can we have Mr. Martin on screen, please? So I'm taking Martin on your behalf.
Now I will request Chairman to give a memento to Saurabh Srivastav. I will request Rajput Saab to give memento to Session Chairman.
For Mr. Chairman himself. Thank you, Rajput Saab. With this, thanks a lot, everyone. And sorry, I have exceeded by 7 minutes, but this happens with the brain here. So thanks a lot. But we are not going to increase the time for the lunch. We'll sharp at 2 o'clock. We'll back into lunch here. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
And enjoy your lunch. Thanks, Martin, joining here. Thank you, everyone.